So on the 19th of September 2015, I went to Brighton Community Stadium to watch South Africa versus Japan. I was there because I work on behalf of World Rugby, and we were conducting the Rugby World Cup Observer Programme. So the Observer Programme has run for 5 weeks and included about close to 200 people from the next organising committee of the Rugby World Cup. So in 2019, it'll be hosted in Japan. So on the 19th of September, we had 20 delegates from the different Japanese cities who'll be hosting in 2019. So that's why we were there. We headed to the game from the fan zone. So we were down on Brighton Community Beach before the game, which was everyone was starting to get excited down there. It was a beautiful sunny day. Couldn't believe it had been raining all week, and then just for the game, blue skies, wonderful sunshine, felt like summer again. And we all took a shuttle bus, so we were showing the delegates kind of behind the scenes so they get to understand how to run a Rugby World Cup, and part of that is really showing them the spectator experience. So we went on these old rattling shuttle buses from the front of the pier all the way up to the stadium. We're very lucky we took them to hospitality. So before the game, went up to this amazing hospitality room where it's all set out with tables, and you get fed an amazing meal. They have a speaker there. So I think the speaker on the day was Shane Williams, an ex-Welsh international, and he actually brought the cup with him. So that was everyone was really excited about that. And there's you kind of rugby fans are always sat amongst themselves. So, at hospitality, we had, I think we had 4 tables. So it's all of us Japanese and myself and my colleague. And then we were sat next to a table of big burly South African men, all in their green and golden. Everyone had flags. Everyone was getting really excited. And what was really interesting with our group was they're there to represent their cities. So they're quite formal, and they've always worn that. Whenever we took them around, they always wore suits, but on game day they actually started, as we were leaving the hospitality, putting on shirts, putting the red and white of Japan on their faces, got out all these flags. It was quite funny because we hadn't seen that side to them. Actually, these guys who were quite straight-laced and Japanese businessmen suddenly became rugby fans, so that was really cool. I think everyone's expectation as well on the day was that, Japan didn't stand a chance in hell. This is South Africa we're talking about. They're ranked 4th in the world. Japan haven't won a game since 1991. They've only won 1 game in World Cup history, and it just wasn't to be expected that they could ever have probably even scored a try against South Africa. So to go out there and do what they did was really special. We went round to our seats, and just as soon as you got in there, it was the stadium was rocking. Like, I've never been at a game where, for the first whistle, the atmosphere was so electric. Brighton has only hosted 1 rugby game ever before, so this is really a first in their history. That game was a under-20s England game, so it was really a test back in April. For them to check that they could host a rugby game. So it was a really big deal for them and for the city. So the point of the Rugby World Cup this time around was that the organising committee wanted to take it to different parts of the country that aren't rugby heartland places. So, they have taken it to Gloucester, which is a rugby heartland, but they've also taken it to Brighton, where there isn't a rugby team. And they've taken it to Leeds, where, rugby league is the big sport up there. So to take it to Brighton, and I don't know if they were expecting the turnout that they got and the fans that were there, but it was really something quite different and quite special. And you could tell straight away that the crowd were just behind Japan. It's quite a thing in British sport that I think you tend to support the underdog. So you could see that the stadium really were behind the cherry blossoms, and I think they thrived off that atmosphere. South Africa made a few early and quite silly mistakes, I think. It's hard to remember the game because it was such a good one that it goes by in a blur, but Japan were on top at half-time. And the most remarkable really was in the second half, because they had an opportunity. It went to 29-29, and then they had an opportunity to go ahead, and they, instead of taking a kick, they went for the corner. And in the end, in the 84th minute, scored a winning try. Hesketh scored in the corner, and the stadium just went completely wild. The whole Japan team were running on the pitch, and it was magical. It's something that you'll never forget. Anyone who was in that stadium, anyone who watched the game, will tell you that it has changed the face of rugby, and it's made my job a hell of a lot easier working on the next Rugby World Cup. You know, I think people are really saying, well, Japan don't play rugby, they don't know how to. They've come out this tournament and they've shown a different style of rugby to what the Northern Hemisphere and also some of the Southern Hemisphere teams play. And it's really something that they can be very proud of. And we're so excited that, you know, the next Rugby World Cup will be in Japan now.